allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Would you please turn off your cell phones or on silent so they will not disrupt the meeting? And to begin with, I have Erica Weaver on a phone call with us because of her work commitment. She is allowed to participate via phone conference. Will you please call roll?
John Hedges.
Here.
Gary Kepley.
Here.
Heidi Larson.
Here.
Ashley Overton. Here. Dale Ryder.
Here.
Erica Weaver. And Michelle Scanlon.
Here. Thank you for coming. Under reception of visitors, 2.1 agenda, 2.1A, Mattoon Middle School Read Across Mattoon. Ingrid Minger is the sponsor. So happy to have her here. Please come in, it's up to you.
Hello.
Hi.
Right here? Okay. So, my name is Hannah Catt. I'm Leah Hampton, and I'm Corey Goodman. And we are in our middle school reading committee. And so, reading committee, we meet like Friday mornings, and we just like discuss our Read Across Mattoon book. And we would like read books and be like, oh, I like this book, or no. And then it's just this big discussion. And this year's book is called Amari and the Nine Brothers. And here's a little sneak peek. So Amari was just a normal girl from the hood, and then on one day, her brother Quentin goes missing. And then everyone believed that Quentin was gone for good, but Amari still believed that he was out there somewhere. No one knew what his job was until one day a package arrived for her, and said for her eyes only. Little did she know that the package meant to lend to a mysterious world with myth about mythical creatures living amongst them. She gets enrolled in a magic summer camp that Quentin went to, and she is determined to find her brother, who's famous in the world, and learn more about the secret life he led. She decides to try out for a junior agent, the role that Quentin had and how he helped defeat an evil magician and something called the Night Brothers.
But who are the Night Brothers? Quentin always told Amari that she was special, so why was everyone so scared when she got her special talent? Will Amari find Quentin, and does she know who her true friends are? Amari and the Night Brothers has magic, action, suspense, and a big unexpected twist at the end.
So that's pretty much it. Yeah, but
Ingrid, I'm so excited to read this book.
It is so good. I started to, some people are a little sneaky for winter break, and like Amanda was telling me, she's telling me that she read it, and it was so good. And there's a second one, and the second one is just as amazing, and holy cliffhanger.
we're all praying out for the third book.
No, it's just for sure.
Is this your 21st year?
Wow.
Is this your 21st year?
It is 21 years, and the kids are amazing. We were just talking about we need to start our list for next year, and we do something a little bit different than previously. In the last few years, we have taken suggestions from the students, what they think would be a good Read Across Mattoon book, and then in addition to that, we use the Rebecca Cottle list. So we start now, before the Cottle list has even come out, saying what books do you think we should consider?
There was a very strong debate for this book. Because there was like, I think it was like just one vote. It was like, I was very strongly like, because we did little like things where we talked about the book beforehand, and I was like, this is the one I want to win. I very strongly, I had to talk to everyone. I was like, I want this book. It might be long, but it's a good one.
How many are on the committee?
20. Yeah. Great.
Good job, you guys.
I will leave copies of the book for anyone in the audience that did not get one on the desk right out here in the welcome area. So, and you can also get them at the public library. That's our like go-to spot, public library or middle school. Community members can get them.
Ingrid?
Yeah.
How many books would you say altogether up until this point have you passed along?
Oh gosh, well over 20,000.
20,000.
Well over 20,000. And we've had them all over the world. Like, I had a sweetest email from a gentleman from Pennsylvania. 2 years ago about the program, and he was so excited, and he had such kind words. And so it's very nice to hear from people that have traveled all over. And we've some people who went to Australia not too long ago, they're like, we left him in the airport, and I'm like, yay, I love doing that. And like I went to New York over break and left one thing in the airport. Hopefully they find him and read him, but yeah, keep passing it along.
Thank you.
Great job, guys.
Item 2.1B, recognition of school board members. Dr. Perry Hill from the Illinois Association of School Board Field Service Director is here for this time. Perry, you are up.
Thank you very much, and I'll say good evening to one and all. As has just been shared, my name is Dr. Perry Hill IV, and I am the Director of Field Services for the Illinois Association of School Boards. This organization is a voluntary member organization of which the Mattoon CUSD2 is a member, one of the 852 members, to be specific. Now, one of my tasks is to oversee a region within Illinois. Your school board belongs to what's called the Illini Division, which is comprised of 259 school boards and 37 school districts. Now, I stand before you in order to celebrate the commitment of two particular school board members who are present today. These school board members have really brought forward a passion and a persistence for gaining more knowledge through IASB activities involving school board governance. These individuals have elevated their board leader status to what's called the distinguished level. And in this level, we recognize them tonight, and we encourage them to continue moving forward as they impact their board and the wider community. So at this time, I'm going to ask that school board member Gary Kepley and school board member Ashley Overton will come forward, and I will present them with their award.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Can I get a picture?
Yes.
2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Now, my task is not yet done. My final task is to recognize and celebrate another member of the Mattoon CUSD2 school board. This particular member has demonstrated an aptness in applying the principles of school board governance in her task as the board president over the years. She also holds a couple of other notable leadership tasks that really reinforce her reason for being awarded this particular award. She has a legacy that's been established as a school board member for your community for 32 years. She also provides leadership to the Illinois Association of School Boards as a member of the board of directors, and even more regionally, she serves as the director for the Illini Division. So at this time, I'm going to ask that Board President Michelle Skidlow come forward, and that we all put our hands together and applaud her service. Well deserved.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And one last caveat, if I could. Board President Skidlow, the award that she received is extremely notable because as far as the Illini Division is concerned, she is the only school board member in the Illini Division to win this award, and it's statewide among the 852 school boards in Illinois. She's only one of 47. So.
That kind of got me at a loss. Thank you very much, Perry, and thank you for joining us. Ashley, Gary, appreciate it. I always try to encourage our board members to attend as many workshops and classes as they can, so we will be better prepared when we come to the table. We don't have, oh, yes, we do. Okay, I have several speakers under non-agenda. James Denasso, Charleston, Illinois. If when you stand, even though I've said it, would you say it loud enough so Mrs. Weaver can hear it?
James Donasso. I'm here to address the board. Apologize for not being here last month, but I had a prior commitment, so I wanted to address the board last month. I'm here to address the issue of the Open Meeting Act, supposed violation that occurred back in October. I'm with the Concerned Taxpayers of Coles County. We normally deal with fiscal and taxation issues in the county. However, we do go out and try to hold local boards that govern the county, within the county, accountable for their actions. I couldn't let this one go. Publicly, Mrs. Heidi Larson was accused of violating the Open Meeting Act. You did that publicly. I was here at one of the meetings and I heard about it, so I did a little investigating and I wound up writing the Attorney General of the state for an opinion on the matter. And the opinion came back. I'm sure it was emailed to the board, or at least someone on the board who distributed it to the board. And I want to read from it. I won't read the whole thing because I only have a few minutes. The information you provided does not reflect contemporaneous interactive communications among a majority of quorum of the board, and therefore does not suggest that the board held an improper private meeting subject to OMA. I'm skipping a little bit. Because the facts you allege do not support the allegation that the board violated the OMA, the Public Access Bureau determined that no further action is warranted in this matter. I'll translate that for the public. Mrs. Larson did not violate the OMA, period. That comes from the Attorney General's office of the state of Illinois. I want to warn the audience. I see this all over the place when I travel around the boards. Someone may have a law degree. Someone may say that they know what they're doing and they don't. Always check and hold your local leaders accountable. Mr. Ryder, I'd expect more from you, a lawyer. When you read part of the act, you failed to read the whole act. And you did that to give the appearance of impropriety by Mrs. Larson. And you were wrong. And I think since you did that publicly and accused her, you owe her an apology. And I think the board members that said that she did something wrong, you owe her an apology publicly because you brought it out publicly and accused her. The public should have the apology coming from the board. And as far as the opinion from the superintendent's, I'm sorry, not superintendent, excuse me, the school board's attorney, Brandon Wright, he was wrong too. He said, it is my opinion that the board member, Heidi Larson, likely violated the Open Meeting Act with her email on October 4th, 2022. He was wrong. Mr. Ryder was wrong. Several members on the board were wrong. The Attorney General settled it. Make sure you are holding your local governing officials accountable. If they're doing things that are not right, hold them accountable. And if there's votes that you don't like, let them know about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one last thing. Is the board going to apologize to Ms. Larson?
In my opinion, my conversation was not public with Mrs. Larson. Ours was a private conversation. I did not accuse her publicly. She brought it forward at our meeting, I believe, in October. My intentions were never, ever to bring it publicly or do anything with it. I was hoping to use it as a learning tool. I am sorry that it has gone this far. And I believe that it's time we get back to the business of what we're here for, our children, our families, our community, and our district.
That's fine, but
And
the Attorney General's office said you guys made a mistake and you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, making a mistake, but she was accused publicly.
no, I did not.
Yes, she was. I
didn't
Mr.
accuse
Ryder said she violated the act. Go back and look at it. It's on your own tape.
I'm speaking for myself, Mr. Dennison.
All right, I'm just asking, for those who accused her publicly, are you willing to make a statement that you were wrong and apologize? That's because the public, some of those people who went to that meeting or saw that meeting might not know about this Attorney General's opinion, and they may think that Mrs. Larson, who's an elected person to this board, violated the act and did something wrong. It's very important that you were to make public statements like that you make them right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I apologize, I have to go to the county board meeting.
Heidi Larson, OMA.
So I'll start with that this is super uncomfortable. I did bring the AG letter for you to look at. I figured last month we provided the district's attorney's letter for you to see as a public, and we should look at the AG letter. This is never what I expected, nor do I think that I ever violated the OMA. So I just prepared something to say after the December meeting because it was super disappointing. The Open Meetings Act accusation has been an interesting experience to me. And this began due to an inadequate board policy that the president and superintendent get to decide what is added or not added to the agenda. Throughout my tenure, several of my requests have been denied or changed in wording. As such, in hopes of having an agenda item included, I sent an email to a quorum of 4 board members. I knew I did not violate the OMA. I was requesting that the sex education curriculum be added to the agenda. It is an important item for me. It's an important item for my constituents. I also knew that my request could be FOIA'd by the public. I was initially accused of the OMA, like Ms. Skinlow said, board president via text message. I replied that I wanted this in writing, specifically how I had violated the OMA, so that I could learn and the board could learn. When I did not receive the formalized accusation from the president, Skinlow, as requested, I did ask our school district attorney, Brandon Wright, to provide his opinion with sources and authority. What is important about this is that, and I received this, all right, on October. This is important because it substantiates the claim and the legal precedent of the opinion. We all have opinions. In the same meeting, my colleague Dale Ryder publicly accused me of violating the OMA. During this meeting, Mr. Ryder, regardless of intention, failed to read the entirety of the OMA and excluded the contemporaneous interactive communication, which is needed in order for a violation to exist. On October 23rd, I received Brandon Wright's legal opinion. Now that we've all seen the opinion, I think we can agree that it is not what I requested. It was not based in sources and authority. Mr. Wright conveyed board member Heidi likely violated the OMA with her email. She created a gathering via electronic communication with a total of 4 board members in an attempt to discuss the school district business. The district attorney did not provide a legal opinion supported with sources and authority, and it's unclear to why Mr. Wright did not provide a clear opinion without speculative conjecture. With persistence of the media and myself, the board voted to release the letter last month from our district attorney in December. The disappointment continued when every one of us received the AG letter the night before the December board meeting from the Office of the Attorney General. Now, to be clear, the Attorney General is the state's chief legal officer and is responsible for protecting the public interest of the state and the people. They authorize, upon request, furnish a written legal opinion for the state's offices and attorneys on matters relating to official duties. As Mr. James Donasso said, that it did not include contemporaneous interactive communication, which means someone from the board would have had to respond to my email. And the irony is, they would have been the one violating the OMA. Tonight, I'm voicing concerns on several points. Number 1, I have not heard a retraction nor an apology for President Skinlow or Mr. Ryder. The accusation was improper, and my integrity and credibility and character was called into question without merit. And I would hope every one of you would stand for your credibility and your character here in this room. Equally important, I'm challenged by the viability of utilizing the opinions of the current board, Brandon Wright, as they do not align with the state's preeminent legal office of the Attorney General. If Mr. Wright is on the incorrect side of this topic, can we afford as a district to be on the wrong side of the next opinion? As such, in February, I will be requesting a discussion to retain new legal representation. Moving forward, all of my agenda items will be sent to the entire board without discussion. Teachers and parents and citizens of the district have the right to know that I'm carrying the request further to communicate and offer a dialogue to the board for consideration. If my actions are perceived as anything other than the concern of the betterment of the district, it is unintentional. I will continue to be a voice for children and citizens in the district and will continue to push the board to be transparent and strive towards excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Dan, is it Hafley or Nafley?
Hastily.
Hafley, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Please, it's your turn.
That's all right. I'm gonna set my clock here so I can watch what I'm doing here. I just have a simple thing. I want to address the sex ed curriculum. And I think that I would like to request the board consider to leave it as it is and not change the verbiage, not change anything. The reason being that we have new people coming to the town. We have a lot of people looking at Mattoon. Folks, I think Mattoon's gonna be growing soon, even more than it has. There are folks from different states who are leaving those states for different reasons, and they're looking for a place to land. We want good people to come to our community. We want more folks to come. But if we change the language of the sex ed program to match the national activist rhetoric, what we're doing is we're making it more welcoming and friendly to what I would term as deviant behavior. I don't think that's the intention of the board. I don't think that's the reflection of the community at all. And I would like to say, please just leave it as it is. Don't try to update the language. Don't try to do that. I think we should teach the children, all the children, they need to respect everyone. I absolutely am for that. We're all God's children. We're all a reflection of God in some way or another. In my opinion, no sin is worse than another. But I think turning sin into acceptable behavior is a mistake. And I know no one here on this board wants that. And I know no one on this board wants to teach that. But my contention is that if we change the rhetoric to match the national rhetoric, what we're doing is we're borrowing language from activists. And by doing so, we're saying, hey, we like that kind of behavior. Come to Mattoon. That's my question or my comment. I would like you to consider that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Hampton?
Good evening. In many ways, our entire community is going to be impacted by the decision tonight, whether or not you have young children or children in the district, because what our children learn, especially when they're young, will permanently impact who they are. And I think that's why so many different people and so many different demographics are concerned about your decision on the NSES. So because there had been so much confusion and so much discussion, I decided to read it for myself line by line so that I could kind of understand what you're up against. And as the board has noted, the statute states that schools may choose and adapt the age and developmentally appropriate, medically accurate, complete, culturally appropriate, inclusive, and trauma-informed comprehensive personal health and safety and comprehensive sexual health education curriculum that meets the specific needs of the community. And so that's what we've been hearing about. However, it also states that all instruction and materials, including materials provided or presented by outside consultants, community groups, and organizations, may not conflict with the provisions of this section. All classes that teach comprehensive personal health and safety and comprehensive sexual education shall satisfy the following criteria. Course material and instruction shall be age and developmentally appropriate, medically accurate, complete, culturally appropriate, inclusive, and trauma-informed. And it includes definitions. So importantly, it defines complete as information that aligns with the NSES, including information on consent and healthy relationships, anatomy and physiology, puberty and adolescent sexual development, gender identity and expression, sexual orientation and identity, sexual health, and interpersonal violence. Culturally appropriate is defined in much the same way. Inclusive is defined as inclusion of marginalized communities that include but are not limited to people of color, immigrants, people of diverse sexual orientations, gender identities and gender expressions, people who are intersex, people with disabilities, people who have experienced interpersonal or sexual violence, and others. The statute also requires that course materials and instruction shall provide information about local resources where students can, quote, obtain additional information and confidential services related to parenting, sexual and reproductive health, gender identity, gender expression, and other related issues, as well as information about state laws related to minor confidentiality, including minors' access to confidential health care and related services. It requires that course materials and instruction may not deliberately withhold information about reproductive health services, hormone therapy, and FDA-approved treatments and options, including but not limited to pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP, which you're probably seeing television commercials about. So, you know, the state is already making moves to remove that ability to have local control from our district. It seems clear to me that if we adopt this sex ed curriculum or align with any part of it, we will have to morally align with, or at the very least, not contradict any of those things that you just heard me read. So despite the issues on which we might agree, I know that we're all ultimately here for the same reason. We want to provide a safe and effective education for the children in this district, and I hope your votes tonight will reflect that.
Thank you. Aiden Char.
Good evening, board members, school district staff, and people of our community. Before I start real quick, I'm addressing the health and sex ed curriculum. I am Aiden Tarek. I'm a Mapleton High School sophomore. I'm vice chairperson and the student representative on the curriculum coordinating committee, which I will also refer to as the CCC. The position and the opinion I share today does not reflect any of the positions I hold with other organizations. I have kept up to date with nearly every school board meeting for the last year, including the December 13th board meeting, where the health and sex ed guidelines were discussed and proposed. In addition to that, I reviewed our current curriculum in my capacity as a member of the CCC. I believe that the decision this board made nearly a year ago to form an advisory team to research and review our current curriculum was the most adept and insightful decision to make for the continuation of a strong learning program. This gave us the unique opportunity to not only look over our curriculum to ensure that it teaches safe practices for growing up, while also ensuring that we are protecting both parents and children in our community. And the advisory team's finding, and my understanding, is that we do believe in our curriculum. We're changing very little, except for the few minor changes that Dr. Hill shared at the last meeting. Now, there are two other things that I wanted to quickly touch on that I think could have been cleared up last month. There was concern over the precedent that making puberty conversations available at the third grade level sets. I do not believe it's about precedent. I believe it's about our knowledge and our understanding of how the human brain and biological functions work, and how far research has come even in the last 30 years since 1990 in regards to puberty and bodily functions. The fact of the matter is that we have third grade girls in our district who are going through puberty and who have no idea what's going on, because unfortunately not every kid has the blessing of having parents who will talk about puberty or bodily changes to you, or the ability or financial ability to get a physical done every single year. And for the parents who feel like third grade is a little too early for their kid, I understand they can opt to have their kid continue to learn it in 4th or 5th grade. Secondly, I know there was some miscommunication and confusion about what happens after the school board votes today. And I wanted to use a really good metaphor that Mr. Condon shared with me. Imagine that we're building a house, right? And we say to our contractors that we need 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a patio. That's what this is today, what we're voting on, the guidelines to follow, what we want. Then the contractors take that to build the house, right? Or in our scenario, the advisory team, the CCC, takes these guidelines, the lesson plans, the slideshows, and they form the curriculum. Then the contractors show us the final project, the house, to ensure that we like it before we move in. Or in our case, the advisory team takes the final lesson plans back to the parents, teachers, students, and administrators on the curriculum coordinating committee months from now, where we can decide whether we're ready for implementation. I'm asking the school board, as a student representative, it is my job and my responsibility to show what the students feel is best. And in my actions, since I've started presiding over the meetings with the health and sex ed curriculum, I've asked students. I've asked them how they feel about our current curriculum. I've asked them about the changes that they like, that we're making. And a majority of the students I ask appreciate it. I'm Aiden Tarek, I'm a Mapleton High School sophomore, and I'm asking the board to vote yes for our new guidelines.
Thank you. Dale, you asked to have a comment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam President. I had hoped that we were done with the soap opera that has become the Open Meetings Act issue, but apparently we're not. So I want to speak to it. This is the last time I plan to speak to it publicly because, quite frankly, I think the board and everyone has better things to do. When I heard that there was an internet report somewhere out on a website that I owed an apology to a board member for an opinion that I had rendered on the Open Meetings Act. 23 years in public life before I joined the board, it told me, don't pay that much attention to internet groups out there, particularly those that may be outside of the district you represent, or that will wind up being all you do. But since this concerns something that I had said and was directed at a fellow board member, I decided to look into it. So I went back and looked at the October meeting where my opinion was rendered. I don't know how many of you have done that. If you haven't, I would encourage you to do so if this is of any interest to you whatsoever. The meeting opened with Heidi giving a 7 or 8 minute opening statement, and then an exchange back and forth between Heidi and the board president. During the first 15 minutes of the meeting, Heidi asked for a legal opinion on how her email could have possibly violated the Open Meetings Act no less than 5 times. No less than 5 times. I decided to offer a legal opinion on how the email might have crossed the boundary on the Open Meetings Act. I did not do so in an accusatory fashion, in a demeaning fashion. In fact, after I was done rendering my opinion, I went out of my way to say, this is not a big deal. So let's not just hang on to this, and let's get back to the business of the board. If anyone questions any of that, go back and look at the tape yourself. I was not at the time, nor am I now, under the illusion that my opinion is the only opinion on the Open Meetings Act. The Attorney General has a different opinion. I appreciate that. His is, quite frankly, a less transparency-friendly opinion than mine. The board's attorney agrees with me. I'm sure if we went out and found an attorney and another one and spent more and more taxpayer dollars getting more and more board opinion of legal opinions, we get different legal opinions that cross the array of the statute, which I think would be an incredible waste of time and money, because it seems like the people in this room are the only ones who care about this. I would also caution the board to ally themselves too aggressively with the Attorney General. The Attorney General is the chief legal officer in the state, but the Attorney General is not a judge. The Attorney General is not the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois or the United States. The Attorney General doesn't get final say on what the Open Meetings Act, how exactly it should be determined. I would also suggest caution with regards to the Attorney General. If you'll recall, the Attorney General is the one who stood side by side with Governor Pritzker and his executive orders when it came to COVID mitigation in the schools. So if he's infallible on this, does that mean he was infallible on that? I don't think that's where you would want to go on that. Here's the other reason I'm not going to apologize, and hopefully we put this to bed, is I think we are walking down a dangerous road in our ability to publicly discuss issues when we say every time we disagree with someone's opinion, they owe you an apology. Okay? I gave my opinion in an objective, informed manner. I understand that people disagree with it, but I gave my opinion in that manner. I'm not going to apologize for something that I said that is my opinion and I believe in. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you very much, Dr. Scoffice, for reminding me to wrap it up.
Thank you. Just to speak.
Go ahead, Dr. Larson.
My statement was 3 minutes. And you timed that. In addition to that, I see your clock. That Dale, what's offensive as a board member, as a colleague on the board, that we pay taxpayer money for a school district attorney. We pay a lot of money for the district attorney who can provide information and knowledge on whether the OMA was violated or not. As a colleague, we're not here as a lawyer, we're not here as a psychologist, we're not here to give those opinions per se. And that's why I asked, and I thought it was appropriate and proper to say, hey, as a board, let's figure out whether we can email agenda items or not. Let's figure out what's the appropriate way. And when people ask me, how does your colleague accuse you? I thought you were collegial. How does this happen? I too am wondering. And so to ask you for an apology, whether you give that or not, Dale, is your decision. But it is not my expectation of our relationship here, and that we're looking for the district attorney to give the opinion. And I'm hoping that you as my colleague are not giving your opinion on my behavior.
Okay, I want to be clear. So you weren't asking for my opinion when you
No,
asked?
your statement was, Heidi, can I help you here? And you just were Johnny on the spot opening your computer. It just so happened to have the LOMA right there and then read the 3 requirements. I didn't ask you for your opinion. I wouldn't ask you for your legal opinion, right? Because if we ask 50 people, we get 50 different responses. Who I asked was the school district attorney. That's who I asked to give a legal opinion, so we know how to operate our business. And what I asked was with legal precedent. So I wanted to know, what does the law say in Illinois based on agenda items via email with colleagues and forum?
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Erica?
so I am not here to present a slip, but I would like to just, I need to say something, please.
Yes.
Because I've avoided this conversation intentionally. But there are a couple of things. We did get an opinion from our district attorney's office. That is an opinion. That is what he shared. It is correct that it was not a court opinion, it was not a ruling. He did what he paid him to do. He did it multiple times. I also think that we need to be very clear about how we refer to our attorney general. The attorney general gave an opinion based on what was said to him. It was not an opinion that was sought by the district. It was not a complete set. We don't know what was said to him. So we take all of those opinions as they are. But it is my understanding that this board, nor the district attorney, or anyone else is pursuing any sort of corrective action. So respectfully, we need to focus on the business of this board and this district. Collectively, we have all had disagreements. And I don't know that there's any time since I've been on this board in 6 years that there have been a significant amount of either requests and or unsolicited apologies. We are supposed to demonstrate how to effectively be a board and a body that does the work for this district and this community. We don't get to take it personal. We have to move on with the business of this board. That means we are not attacking each other. We are not attacking the community. We are not attacking our district administrators or our teachers, and we're not attacking any other elected official. It is their opinion. And at this moment, we don't get to do anything else with it. We need to say that is the opinion that we have, and we are moving forward with the business of this board and this district and this community.
Thank you, Erica. Moving on, and as I said earlier, let's get back to the business of the board and our children. Item 3, consent agenda for board action. 3.1, approval of minutes. 3.1A, regular board meeting, December 13th, 2022. 3.1B, executive session meeting, December 13th, 2022. 3.2, financial payment of bills. 3.2A, presentation of the bills for approval. 3.2B, monthly financial reports by fund. 3.2C, budget to actual report. 3.3, approval for business office to begin tentative preparation for fiscal year 24 budget. 3.4, approval of board policies presented December 13th, 2022. 3.5, enrollment report. And 3.6, freedom of information report. And I need a motion and a second, please. Motion by, motion was made by Ashley before you did. Would you like to second that?
I shall second, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, Callie, will you call roll?
Larson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Erica?
Yes,
Hedges,
Yes.
I say yes.
Skinner.
Yes. Thank you. Item, oh, Kepler. We can't forget that. Item 4, new business. 4.1, board discussion and action on health, sex education curriculum. First, I'd like to say thank you very much to the committee for all of their hard work. We appreciate the time and effort that you put into that. At this time, I would like to make a motion that we leave the health ed curriculum the same as it was before, without any additions or attachments to the NSES. So I need a second for that. Ashley, was that complete enough or concise? I did my own words.
I guess I'd have to.
Callie, does that seem concise enough? Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any questions or concerns, comments? I need a, yes.
May I please?
Yes, you may.
So, I want to first thank Aiden for coming and speaking, and not dismissive of anyone else's post, but as a student, I appreciate him coming in and talking to the board and addressing the board. I know his involvement within other committees, and I believe everyone in the room understands that by his presentation tonight, he is well informed. That said, I think that is the same position that this board should make a decision on, and that is being extremely informed by the policies that are currently in place and the recommendations. And I know that we are talking about what the community wants. We have a very diverse community, and we reach out to community leaders, community parents, professionals, and we ask them to sit down and convene and meet and make recommendations based on an informed position. And they did that, and we're being dismissive of that section of our community right now, which is not an informed position. It is an informed position. We have an obligation to look at everything. And I get it. We all have different beliefs, have different socioeconomic experience, we have different religious beliefs, we have different cultural beliefs. But the board does not get to promote any one of those beliefs and positions over the other. And so, and people that were on the advisory board or committee, they represent every one of those beliefs. So it's not that we are being dismissive of anyone else. They were represented in that group. Maybe not individually, but collectively they were represented, and we are being dismissive of that now. So I am opposed to this motion. I will vote no on this motion because it's not responsible in my perspective. We have to be a responsible body. It is not a past privilege. It is so active, and we have to do that. And respectfully, I don't think that this board is doing it.
Thank you, Erica. Heidi, did you say you had something to say?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So,
Okay.
One. will
I'm
we-
sorry, Dr. Larson. I didn't mean to be rude.
Will we have an opt-in? That's what we talked about in April. How is that moving forward then?
What do they have currently? What is currently on record?
It's currently an opt-out, and that's been the direction I think that we would continue to move forward as an opt-out, just as we've done previously.
Second of all, there was something mentioned in the article yesterday about contracted services. Tim, is that part of this discussion, that we would contract this particular sex education service out of the district? Or is this taught in the school district by our employees?
But I'm sorry, you're referencing an article.
Was it yesterday when we talked about contracting services for the sex ed curriculum?
I think maybe when Dr. Hill presented, there was some discussion around the contracting of medical professionals to be a part of that. That's what we recall.
So that's not part of the discussion right now, that the sex education curriculum that we currently have will be taught by Mattoon employees in the district that we have.
Right now, exactly.
Okay, and then so one of the concerns or something that came up in the sex ed curriculum committees is that some of the teachers didn't feel equipped or prepared to teach that. And so there are outside agencies that come in. And so my concern is that I would like to provide training to any staff or teacher that wants more education, wants curriculum. Because to me, you lose control of your curriculum to outside sources coming in. There's also a liability with outside sources coming in. We're not sure what they're going to speak. And that was clearly, to me, communicated of a concern among staff. So I would like to just think about, as we're voting on this, is that something that we can also put into place, that teachers who are responsible for this sex ed curriculum can have the training, can have the curricular knowledge that they need to feel confident and prepared to teach this at levels.
I think administration could take that into consideration and discuss that, at a later time. But I do feel well informed on my vote. I did a lot of gut wrenching back and forth with myself from my opinion last April when I did vote no to now, and I still feel the same way, so I did do a lot of studying, so. Any other questions?
I would, if I may, I appreciate the committees, those that was on the committee, whether they be school staff, public, or whatever. And I appreciate you doing exactly what we asked you to do, because it was not only an education for the public, and it was an education for board members as well on this whole topic. Okay, you've done what we asked you to. That is the reason I asked for that to be done when I voted yes. To look at the curriculum was to look at it. And so now that that has been done, I feel very confident in what my vote will be when we take this matter to a vote tonight. But I don't want anybody on that committee to think that we're not appreciative of what they did. You did exactly what we asked you to do, exactly what needed to be done for everybody's sake involved. And so for me personally, I appreciate everything that's done from anybody that was on there and all the opinions that we heard for those who spoke. Appreciate every bit of that. That's how we get to where we're going. So I do appreciate that very much.
Just to clarify, the motion is to leave the district's current curriculum unaffected by the national sex ed standards, correct? Okay.
To remain the same.
So I too was on, I appreciate everybody's work. I was on one of those committees, and it just really opened my eyes to everything that is out there and what I feel like is the direction that our school should go towards right now after reviewing a lot of documents, a lot of mandates, Illinois school mandates and stuff like that, which is what is totally the reason for my vote on how I'm going to vote tonight.
Seeing no further comments, Callie, will you please call roll?
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Erica?
No.
Hedges,
No.
Thank you.
Kathleen,
Yes.
and Larson.
Yes.
You forgot me.
And Skinlow.
Okay, the motion. Yes, thank
Let's
you.
screw this up tonight.
And I just want to publicly thank the parents and community members who've come out, your voices were heard. Appreciate your investment in this obviously very contentious topic and education that we provide for our students. So thank you.
Thank you.
This was not an easy topic. Item 5, reports and recommendations of the business manager. Oh,
I'm here
Mr.
again.
Gear, I started to say Mr. Sherman.
I'm him tonight.
Okay.
Someday I'm gonna ask you for money, but today I'm going to ask you to accept some money again. So, Leidos Incorporated, an Ameren, Illinois energy efficiency contractor, generously wants to donate $25,000. They want this to be utilized on the HVAC, green energy, and the construction floors of the lift building. So I'd like to introduce and have them talk a little bit. Lance Eskew and Alex Deeb, representing Leidos, and Dan Compton from the HVAC floor. You guys can stand up.
We're here to just do something easy and give away money.
We'll take it. We'll
So thank you, everybody. We feel like what Mattoon is doing with the LIFT program is just outstanding. We're a very close partner with Ameren. We implement Ameren's energy efficiency program, and we do our best to dovetail with some of their charitable efforts across the state and to help support as well. And over this last calendar year that just finished, we donated about $250,000 of funds across the Ameren Illinois service territory. And what Mattoon is doing with the LIFT program just really rose to the top and really was a part to get behind and support. So we really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it.
Thank you.
While they're
doing that. Huge kudos also to Mr. Compton, who continues to be a huge advocate for students and for youth programs. And just keeps bringing in great partners like you for the benefit of our students and for LIFT. So Dan, thank you for your work in building these relationships too, so. Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Wait a minute, Mr. Gary's leading with the check.
I know. You wouldn't be able to take a little
Okay.
So, I recommend that the board accept this gracious donation.
I need a motion to accept the donation by Gary and second by Ashley. Questions and comments? Please call roll.
Overton?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
Weaver? Weaver? Hedges?
Yes. She heard you, thanks, hon.
Larson?
Yes.
Kepley?
Yes.
Skinlon? Skinlon?
Yes.
And just for information, on the last board meeting, we did the grant for the maintenance grant, and we did receive that in the last couple of weeks, so $50,000 from the state of Illinois.
Wow.
Very good. Item 6, reports and recommendations of the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Dr. Scosi.
All right, well, thank you. The board has before them the January personnel report. You can see I have certified resignations. Marletta Bolin will be retiring effective May 31st of 2028 after 25 years of service as a school district nurse. She could probably write a book. But she's done a wonderful job. Will be sorely missed in our district. Kid House, the Matthew Middle School special education teacher, resigned effective January 4th, 2023. Taylor Smith, Matthew High School math teacher, will be concluding her service in the district at the end of the 22-23 school year. Certified appointments, Savannah Brewer, Franklin Preschool teacher, effective January 2nd. That should be 2023 instead of 2 on the agenda. We'll make that correction in the minutes. Classified resignation, Melinda Hampton, resigning as Williams Elementary School paraprofessional effective January 13th, 2023. Classified appointments, Aaron Wells, Matthew Middle School head custodian, effective May 31st, 2023. In custodial position. Some classified appointments, Tracy Schmidt, Mattoon School District bus driver. It's a win, effective January 3rd, 2023. Thank you, board, for your support on that as well. That's helped greatly. Tina Rawlings, Mattoon substitute teacher, effective immediately. Crystal Sparks, substitute supervisor, effective immediately. Lori Fellers, volunteer, effective immediately. Lori Malini, volunteer, effective immediately. And then extracurricular resignations, Chris Dreyer, resigning, 7th grade boys track coach, effective immediately. James Miller, Mattoon High School cross country coach, resigning effective immediately. And then last one, extracurricular assignments, White Pension, Mattoon High School JV baseball coach, we're recommending him for hire effective immediately. Are there any questions? See none now. Yes.
Can I ask one question? Can you help tell a little bit about Debbie Reed? She's not on there. Could you just inform the public of her role?
She's not on the personnel report?
Yeah.
Is she been hired by the district?
I think so. She's not.
No, she's not an employee of the district. It's a contracted service.
Oh, so she's not going to be on here.
She's not our employee. Yeah. She's a purchase service.
So I was unclear because I thought she was an executive assistant. And so that's a virtual position, so she would not be a person.
Correct. Since it's a contracted service, like I shared with you Friday, and with we do that with our technology. We have people that work with our network that are not our employees, or she's an employee of the company.
We'll pay benefits, she doesn't pay no MRN for TRS, she's a purchase service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Are there any other questions?
David, just one real quick question. I see that 7th grade boys track coach is on there. Is there someone waiting in the wings for that?
We're working with the middle school on that right now. I'll probably have some for you next week. Yeah, I know that comes out, there's like 200 middle school kids that go up for track every year, so, yeah, we're gonna get that filled.
I think John's interested. Experience with middle
He's got
school boys.
beer going for
Yeah, he
a
does.
Are there any other questions?
I have one other question.
Yes.
Jason, like with Kina Helms, do we do exit interviews with teachers that?
From time to time we do, but if we know the reason why, if there's other reasons, then they communicate with that. And I'm not at liberty to disclose or share those in the human resource office. But yes, at times we do, especially at the end of the year, when teachers, if they're retiring and or leaving, we'll do some things at the end of the year that really some information, do some Google Forms and sheets to do that, and some conversations. Yeah, all is good to know so you can understand what's occurred, what they like, what was a challenge for them.
Yeah.
Our mentor program, how effective was that for them? Our professional development, administrative support, peer coaches, the things that we utilize in our support systems there. So, yeah, we do. Good feedback for us.
Yeah, especially since the pool keeps shrinking.
Yeah.
Like hiring.
All right, good. Thank you. I don't think I've had this many questions.
Okay.
See, now then, I would make a recommendation by the board to accept the personnel report as presented.
I need a motion and a second to approve the personnel report.
Motion.
By Ashley, second.
Yes.
Gary? Any comments or questions? Seeing none, Kelly, will you call roll?
Larson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yeah.
Ryder,
Yes.
Kepley,
Yes.
Skinlon.
Yes, thank you. We do not have any reports or recommendations of the Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. Wow.
Just kind of hanging out over here tonight.
Item 8, reports and recommendations of the superintendent. Mr. Condon.
Yeah, I have two recommendations based upon the board's policy as it relates to meeting procedures. And the first is an action item for 8.1 to maintain the closure of executive session minutes for the period of July 1, 2022 through December 31 of 2022, both of which had discussions related to safety of personnel as well as individual students. And then the second had specifically to deal with personnel. So I would recommend the board take action to maintain closure.
I need a motion and a second to maintain closure of those executive session minutes.
Motion.
By Ashley, second. Erica? Any comments or, yes, I got you. Are there any questions, comments?
And Tim, just to clarify, we keep those for 18 months.
We do. So we maintain a copy of them in the closed session of our executive session minutes. So we maintain that within a binder.
Okay.
Kelly, will you call roll?
Larson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kepley,
Yes.
Skinlon.
Yes, thank you.
Item 8.2 has to do with the purging of the executive session audio recordings for the period of January 1st, 2021 through June 30th of 2021 per school code. Dr. Scosi maintains those recordings, and then we go through the process of recommending that those be purged. So that would be our recommendation to the board.
I need a motion and a second to purge those records.
Motion.
By Gary,
Second.
second by Ashley. Are there any questions?
And just to understand, Dave, they're 18 months as well.
Yeah.
You keep these.
Yes, and then our rotation for board policy and school code, rotate. Anything that is, we keep the board decides as to ensure that we make a motion on this.
Thank you. Kelly, will you call roll?
Larson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kepley,
Yes.
Skinlon.
Yes. Item 9, reports and recommendations of other district personnel. 9.1, lift update, McLean Schaefer, lift director.
Good evening, everyone. Fired up. All right, well, good evening again. My name is McLean Schaefer. I'm the director at Lyft, and I have some updates for the board tonight regarding spring enrollment. I want to talk a little bit about Exploration Day coming up on January 20th, as well as just some outcomes from our first semester and some celebrations. So starting off with spring enrollment numbers as of today, we're proud to announce we've got 18 additional students registered for this semester. Our total enrollment right now is 110. Special note of adding Effingham and Shelbyville. We're excited to welcome student representatives from those communities for the first time. So that brings our total schools that are attending LIFT to 12 different schools throughout our region. So very, very proud of that. Leading into our Exploration Day on January 20th. We have, well, myself and the facilitators, mainly the facilitators, planned this day for our Exploration Day. And right now, our current numbers are looking really good. We've got 165 anticipated students from 10 different schools registered to attend our Exploration Day. Students will attend 3 breakout sessions of their choice connected with their interests. And what we have planned for that day is students, facilitators, industry representatives will come and talk to students who might be interested in enrolling in fall of 23 about what LIFT has to offer, as well as engage in some hands-on activities. So that suggestion actually came from our student leadership group who usually runs our tours. And they said, yeah, you know, it's okay, but it can be better. So how about something that engages students and gets their hands on things? So we listened to that. Our facilitators went to the drawing board. Some of the things that students will be doing during this Exploration Day connected with their interests and the pathways they're interested in are making music videos, programming computers, building electric motors and batteries, creating electrical circuits, team building activities, and also making some appetizers in the kitchen if you're brave enough to try it. So Exploration Day is going to be really, really an awesome opportunity, and we hope this is just the start of many more events like that to get students from across our region a chance to see what LIFT has to offer and the opportunities for them throughout that space. So an update on our outcomes I presented to the board in November. And so you'll see these topics are the same, but these would be some final numbers as well as some other additional exciting news we want to share for our outcomes for the semester. So a lot's been going on. 14 guest speakers have come to our building in some form or fashion. We've had 243 service projects that have been completed throughout our region, which we're excited to celebrate that service to others. 84 students have had a specific leadership role in the form of leading one of many tours that we've had, speaking at events and or presenting to various groups and or schools. I'll have a little bit more to share for that here in a moment. 74 students have attended an experience outside of LIFT connected with their pathways and interests. 167 certifications or credentials have been awarded, so we're really proud of that. As well as final grade data with 85% of students at LIFT receiving an A, 98% of students receiving a B or better in their courses. Students are really engaged, they're excited about what they're learning about, and it shows in their outcomes there. Finally, last but not least here on this celebration is we finally received our DCFS Little Leaders Daycare licensing. We're open for business. If you come over there any morning, you're going to see babies down there. There's already been some baby therapy happening throughout the building. And we've warned our students that if they come in and wake the babies up from their nap, it's their responsibility to put them back to sleep. So they've been coming. But we're really excited. It's been a long time coming, and it really is a joy to serve the families. We've got 19 babies down there right now. Our capacity is 21. I think today there was an application for a 20th. So we're nearly at capacity with that, and just a breath of relief to finally have that certification. So I want to talk about some samples of greatness. If you follow us on any of our socials, our amazing social media gals, you're going to hear from them here in a second with some more greatness that they've been happening. But they've been posting about just the sampling of some things that our students have been accomplishing, and I want to highlight some of those things and additional stuff as well. So our culinary students were able to volunteer at the Coles County Council for Aging Lifespan Center luncheon and serve community members that were there that day, doing everything from bussing tables to filling drinks and really tapping into what they'll be doing with the restaurant on the 6th floor. Our first-year child care students all received certifications in CPR, first aid, shaken baby syndrome, SIDS, and mandated reporting, not to mention all of them receiving dual credit from Lakeland for the infant toddler environment. So proud of that. We had our first of many, hopefully, FANUC Robotics Operator Level 1 certification. That's a mouthful, and there is a whole lot involved in that certification, and the conclusion of it is a 3-hour examination where our buddy Ian from Charleston here programs this robot and makes it do things that no one can really fathom. Really, really cool certification. Proud of that. Our leadership students were able to present their capstone projects at Humboldt TLC, at Arcola High School, and at the Haven. One, to recruit for Lyft, but also to teach 7 habits and unconscious bias content to our friends at TLC and at the Haven. Really proud of that. Students definitely getting out of their comfort zone in some of those spaces just to make the world a better place. All of our manufacturing, architecture, and construction and HVA students received their OSHA 10 certifications, and you see them pictured there with their OSHA certifications. Our IT students have been progressing through the first half of their CCNA, which is Cisco Certified Network Associate Certification. They've got a really tough semester ahead, but once they complete that certification, a very valuable certificate to the tune of like average salary starting at $90,000 a year for a high school graduate. Really incredible opportunity for those IT students. That's correct. Yeah, with just that certification. It holds a lot of weight, so really proud of that. As of last week, we can say that that Ford Motor Company, in partnership with Pilsen, has accredited our electric vehicle program to be an official Ford ACE, which stands for Automotive Career Exploration School. We will have access to Ford curriculum within the automotive industry, so students will be working through the content through Ford, getting their certifications, and that follows them to their next step. So if they're going to go into the automotive industry in any form or fashion, that certification they get follows them for their next step. They could take that straight to work at Pilsen's. There's really some incredible partnerships, and we have to thank Pilsen's for making this all possible. Without the purchase of and the donation of our electric vehicle, our kit car, Ford wouldn't have gained interest. So Mr. Compton did a great job with that as well. We got to host representatives from Chicago, St. Louis, and Detroit area Ford Motor Company representatives, where they came and saw what we were doing. We're very impressed, enough to give us the accreditation on the spot and no further questions. So really cool stuff there.
Nice.
Finally, students representing multiple floors were able to go and introduce leadership portfolios to Mattoon Middle School advisory classes and assist those students as they were working on those portfolios. So really proud that that was kind of like an all-in representation from all different floors with those certifications and teaching that. So I want to close with just a recognition of how all of this is possible, and that is with recognizing our team. So the facilitators you see there, not pictured, is Mr. Jacobs, our newest hire in culinary arts. But without them, this doesn't happen. The outcomes don't happen. Our program doesn't grow. The amazing donations you see from community partnerships, industry partnerships, doesn't happen. So kudos to them and the team for making all of this possible and just making Lyft better every single day. Like, today is better than we were yesterday, and that's the movement that we're in, the direction we're headed with the dream team here. So at this time, I'd like to, if the board has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer those.
I'm just so proud of this program.
It's
I
incredible.
think you've done an excellent job.
Thank you. Well,
yes, we appreciate leadership along with the team that you have. You mentioned them, but you felt it yourself.
Appreciate it.
You've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
As a whole group, right? Your
Yes.
team and all
Yeah.
the students.
We're a semester old. We're we're what, 16 weeks, 17 weeks old. So yeah, there's a lot, and the best is yet to come. I believe that with all my heart, and our team does as well. So
Yeah, I'd also like to applaud the administration and staff over at Mattoon High School, giving you guys a space to
Oh, yeah.
offer,
Yeah.
the use of the electric vehicle and until you find a more permanent home. But appreciate the collaboration that exists with other team members as well across the district.
I need to give Mr. Compton a shout out on that because he's like, hey, let's just get the car. I don't know how we're gonna build it on the 3rd floor yet. But let's just get it. We'll figure out the rest. We got the car. We found some solutions. So yeah, definitely kudos to the high school. We've got a really awesome bay that it's in right now, heated.
Where's it at?
It's at in the new auto shop. It was the maintenance sports center area. It was maintenance, but they moved
You just
some
called
stuff
it the auto shop.
Did I? Hey, you know what? Future thinking, right? There's a lot going on with that, but yeah, incredible opportunity. They've already been unboxing, started putting stuff together. So we'll be getting that license, driving it around, doing donuts in no time.
Hey, of your 100 students, how many are Mattoon?
I have that number for you right here. So currently our Mattoon enrollment students are 68.
Okay, and you said you have 12 schools.
Yes. Yep. That's all
Very
right.
nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now, district website updates, Callie and Katie. Callie and Katie show.
I like me to do it, but I'm pretty short.
Perfect team.
Okay, so I'm Callie, this is Katie, and we just want to thank you guys for letting us present tonight. We're really excited about some website updates that we've been working on. We think will be really beneficial for all of our students and staff and community members. So we're going to go through some of them. First, just a little bit about kind of what we do here at the school. Obviously, website design and management, social media management. You may have seen us around the district taking photos. We do that, graphic design, and then we try to establish good relationships with our media partners. I got to give Rob a shout out because he's really been helpful in showcasing all the great things that are happening throughout the district. So tonight's topics, we are going to go over some of the website updates we've been working on, as well as our vision and goals for the rest of this month and throughout the rest of this year, and some future updates. I'm going to let Katie take it with our vision and goals.
So before we even started on the website, we stopped to think about what we really wanted for our website, for our district. We worked with our website provider to kind of look at all of the different websites over the nation. And we decided that we wanted to deliver information very clearly, very transparent, and create a user-friendly platform for all users. So first, we're going to look at the navigation. Oh, well, recent updates first. So that's just navigation, the board page, HR, employment, business office, communications, and faculty resources. So now looking at navigation, suspension, I know. It's a lot cleaner, a lot more concise now, so I know this is a lot different than what you guys have seen in the past. All of the important links that you will use are still going to be here. So over here is one of the main things you guys will use is going to be the resources. Skyward and Schoology are still there, the document center is under there. All of the departments are here, you'll see some new labels under there. And then on that side, thank you, Anna, we have our secondary navigation for important links. You'll notice that some of those will change out during the school year. We have registration. And we do have an employment one to try to help with recruitment for that too. We've really dressed that page up with some top reasons to work for the district, some testimonials, so we're really excited about that page.
Sorry, I'm gonna step back in your way there. So up first, one of the first pages we focused on was our board page because it is a highly viewed page. So just to kind of go over some of the changes, we now have like all the board member pictures and contact information over here. All the same like board vision, the policies, meetings, and agendas are still on there. They're, I think, a little bit easier to find out. You'll find it on the right-hand side of that web page. And you can just easily click on there and access all of our past meetings. Another thing that we did was we put the YouTube link for our meetings. You'll easily be able to find it on that page. It's just a button like this one. And another thing you can do is contact the board. You can see it right there. If you just click it, it goes right to our email, just to make it easy if you have questions or concerns or anything about upcoming meetings that you want to address the board. HR page. Like Katie said, we kind of, the employment page and the HR page, we've kind of tried to implement hiring strategies. So on the HR page, we've got our HR contacts. The lovely HR secretary, Grace, put together a frequently asked questions section because she always gets the calls, and so she was a really good person to go to for that, and that was, I think, is going to be really helpful for this page. We have all your HR resources on here, and then we now have this graphic, this nice big graphic that it'll like go through and tell you all the current positions that we're hiring for. These are the reasons to work for us, just showcasing some of that and staff testimonials, and then an easy application button. The business page, there's Ryan Gear, your picture. So we've got the contacts on there and all your important links and resources, the fun things like audits, reports, budgets, you'll be able to find all of that easily now. It's all the light reading. Yeah.
The communications page is next, very near and dear to this because this is our page. This is a new addition. One of the main things we focused on was branding for it. So you'll see all the colors, the logos you can download easily, the typography. One of the main purposes with adding this was so it's easy use for public, media, local shops. Everybody can easily download this now and use it. So. The faculty page is also a new feature. A lot of these links were on the navigation before, and we added it to this page. It's one easy place for our staff to find it. A lot of important links like payroll, there's help desk links on there, so this is a great place to just kind of streamline our lives for us. So, and then you'll start seeing this a lot more often. So even though this is just the beginning, we're really excited to see where we're going to be going with the website. So we started at the district level, and we're going to start going school by school based on website views. So we look at our analytics, and that's kind of going to determine how we're going to, which pages we're going to go to next. So we're going to finish the district this month. Then we're going to move on to LIFT, since that one will have the least amount of updates. We'll move on to the middle school, high school, Williams, Riddle, and then Franklin will be last.
And then lastly, we just wanted to say thank you again for letting us come up here and present this. And then two, if you have questions, concerns, or suggestions, first of all, we'll answer any questions tonight, but if you have something else, just maybe as you're looking at the website and things are changing, you can always email us on our communications page, but it's communications@mcusd2.com. You can give us a call. We'll be happy to talk to you and take any suggestions too. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
I like the way they say it's much easier for an old goat like me. A computer is never much easier. But if I may, before we go on, I have one thing. And Mr. Schaefer, if I mess anything up on what I'm about to say, correct me. If you have not seen the new mural at Williams Elementary School, honoring the gentleman the school is named after, that has been redone in just the last few days.
Yes.
And it is amazing, and I believe Dave Earp from Lakeland was instrumental in that mural, correct?
That is correct.
But it is amazing, and you'll have to see it to believe it. Shows the actual crash site kind of in the background that you can see and stuff, but it's worth going by the school and looking at this thing, and not to take away, I'm sure this is gonna come up later, so you can yell at me later, Mr. Superintendent, for bringing that out.
That's great. That's great.
It's brand new, but it is absolutely cool to see.
And
So,
Mr. Kepler,
yes.
I might add that the 13th, this Friday, is also Arlen D. Williams Day.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah, it's worth going and seeing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I have one more, I want to say this. I want to thank every board member for signing that letter to the senator regarding the local control. The HB Bill 5188, as of right now, it has not been moved to be voted on. Fingers crossed, today is the last day that they can vote on it. Let's hope that they don't call it, and it won't be an issue, that we won't lose our local control. But I appreciate every one of you, and they're willing to sign that.
And I would like to add a special thank you to the gentleman who is going to be our district state senator at noon tomorrow, Chapin Rose. He is the one to whom the letter was electronically sent, and he walked it over and hand delivered it to the sponsoring senator on the board's behalf.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do not have any unfinished business or executive session, but I would ask as you leave to please keep the Michael Smith family in your prayers. He's a superintendent, he was the superintendent of Beardstown. He passed away at the age of 55 this week. So I know the district is healing and could use your prayers. So having said that, I need a motion and a second
Motion.
at 8:21.
Second.
Gary and Ashley
Adjourn.
to adjourn. Kelly, will you please call roll?
Larson. Yes. Overton.
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Weaver. Gerda.
Yes.
Hedges. Headley.
Yes.
And Moe.
Yes. Thank you, and be safe.
Hey, hey.